Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, federal government establishes National Guards to secure 1,129 forests. Akpabio wants immediate census, says conflicting population figures is a national disgrace. And later on the show, DSS sues Patutomi over formation of shadow governments, says it is an assault on the Constitution. I'll be hanging out with Dotun Oladipo and Kayode Ladede. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. Nigeria's forests have long provided cover for criminal activities like banditry, terrorism and illegal mining. To address these, the federal government has approved the creation of a National Guard tasked with securing 1,129 forests across the country. The guards will be supervised by the Office of the National Security Advisor, NSA, and the Ministry of Environment. Okay, I'll start with the Kayode. You know, the federal government establishing National Guards to secure the forests. I mean, talk to me. What's the significance of this?
I think the major issue is the structure in which this is going to work. This recruitment is going to be done by states.
Okay.
And it's more like a nod to the call for state police, as much as state police has its own name and its own nomenclature. But for the fact that these forest guards are going to be indigenous, they're going to be native, not necessarily indigenous, they are people who live in that state, who knows the nooks and crannies of those forests. It's a welcome idea.
Okay.
For the fact that these people are going to be well trained, they are going to be trained on how to handle arms and necessary things. It's a welcome idea. But what is important is let's be very, very careful not to have some kind of unnecessary effects. I don't want to preempt it.
Okay,
so
true.
I think that's the idea of NSA office being involved.
In charge, supervise.
And to also know that with federal government giving a nod, with the federal government championing this, I think police will not see it as a threat. Because whether police says it or not, police has also been some kind of problem for the Amotekуns of this world, some of those local vigilantes that are being formed in different states. But with the buy-in of the federal government and the support of the federal government, let's hope that police will give their support, spirit, soul, and body. Otherwise, trust me, they can be frustrated.
All right, but one may be first to ask, is this coming a bit too late, or you think it's the right time?
Well, nothing is too late. Because we were somewhere before this came into being. If you go back into the history of the forest guards becoming legitimate, using the language of the Zenjis, becoming legit, it has taken time. And this is something that the last few years has taught us we really, really need as a country. We don't need to start reeling out figures. The figures are there in the public space about how many people we have lost to people who operate from the forest. The number of people who have been kidnapped. In fact, the latest one was the fact that someone was kidnapped, someone went to pay ransom, they took the ransom money and
kidnapped
the person who went to drop the money for the kidnappers. So it's not too late. But where we are coming from, we took that decision a bit too late. Because we actually saw the need for it. And I'm going to go back to what this government agreed to over a year ago. The mining marshals. The mining marshal was not a fresh creation. What they did was to pull out some people from the the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and give them that mandate go and see to it that even if you can't completely eliminate illegal mining, which also fuels insecurity.
True.
Because they pull out a lot of money from there. The likes of Zamfara State, Sokoto and the rest, they pull out a lot of money. Go and do something there. And they train them specially for that. The records are there. You go back and you check. When the minister briefed the newsmen, along with the Minister for the Environment, I'm talking of Dr. Dele Alake now, and the Minister of the Environment, they came up with some very interesting figures. Because these people were specifically dedicated to tackling that issue.
Okay. All right, now let's look at forest security and border security. I mean, can this idea succeed without sanity on our borders? Because we've always talked about our porous borders. If we protect our forests, but our borders are still porous,
they go hand in hand.
Is it not defeated already?
No, they go hand in hand. And for us to face that reality that porous borders is something that we've been talking about, we've not been able to see the end of it. But as much as solutions are being concocted, we are seeing technology in detecting and doing all those things, it is important that this particular forest guards should not be waved aside.
Okay.
Why this is important, you know, someone will say that I hope there will not be unnecessary casualties among those people. That's the essence of training. And I hope that they will get the support of the recognized security agents, because they will need a lot of backup. They will need a lot of collaboration.
Okay.
As much as these people, the edge they have over our security agents is that some of these people are not in that state. Some of people don't know the nooks and crannies. So they are going to provide that information. They're going to provide that synergy. But the borders, we shouldn't take it for granted. In other words, the necessary security agents should also be increased, because some will say that, hey, recruitment, are they going to get paid? What about all those things? Now, the state is going to handle a lot of that. And the state, I still listen to the governor of Nasarawa on TVC, still saying that we can fund state police. They are ready to protect their people.
I mean, they're getting more money now, so they should be able to.
More money, more responsibilities.
More money, more responsibilities. So I totally believe that they should be supported. People who will be recruited should be supported, should be encouraged. Because protecting your brothers, protecting your neighbors shouldn't come at the expense of your life.
Now, while talking about border security, forest security, let's also look at technology. Can we not, you know, use technology for things like that? I mean, drones, you know.
Unfortunately, the way we are now, we can't cover the whole country.
Absolutely.
Fully. We just learned now that we are planning to launch satellites, and 4 of them at once, and get the entire country covered. That's a good one. So, like we've been saying over time, the things we are doing now, they are things we ought to have done when we were richer.
Oh, okay.
In pure Naira form, we are richer, but in value, we are poorer.
Okay.
We are poorer now. What we would have done with 1 million some 10 years ago, we will now have to do with about 100 million. So gradually we'll get there. But this is a starting point. And one of the things I'm happy about, which you mentioned, these guys who are going into the forest, they are armed. And the man heading the forest guard, he has done the right thing. The first place he visited when they knew that this was going to be signed into a bill was the Inspector General of Police.
Okay.
So let's fight. Don't see us as a threat. Because if the police, and they also know this, had been that effective, there are so many agencies we won't have now. We won't have Federal Road Safety Commission. We won't have them. Because it's part of the duty of the police to control traffic. That's why you have traffic departments. We won't have NSCDC that we just mentioned now.
Okay, but
all of those
this
are
conversation could drag on, but we need to, because when you talk about if the police is effective, if the government is actually doing...
I'm just saying that the police must render that support. And he has also visited those who are better armed than them, the DSS, all the military wings. He has visited. So it's good for them. They are good to go.
All right, then. We're going to be talking about the police in our next conversation, okay? So let's move straight to our next conversation, gentlemen. Now, as technology continues